Good morning, everybody. Custom Mike's here. I'm sitting in front of a mid-30s Pontiac 6-cylinder engine that came back from the engine builder after a full rebuild and an ionic cleaning. I think everybody made some assumption. I don't deal with engines, transmissions, and rear ends. I will not open them up. I will not deal with it inside of them. And I don't have a lot of knowledge about them. But one of the things that came up and bit the owner of this one is we didn't know, and it appears that the engine guy didn't know either, that these early engines, and you can see the cylinder walls actually down here, they only have water up here. There's no water jackets down here. And all the crud that accumulates in the engine as it rusts, this, that, the other, end up right here, and there's only a drain like right there. And also, because they were having some engine troubles, and I've done a lot of reading up on, we bought the manuals, and I've been reading up online and checking it out. But it turns out that here's where the water pump goes. And inside that hole, since they had trouble cooling these, they actually installed what's called a water distribution tube that goes into here and then distributes water preciously to hot spots, etc., mainly in the cylinder head and around the valves and all those things. Well, this is a tiny piece of metal that sits in water, and if you don't maintain it and you put in just water, these are going to rust away. And he was presented with a choice of an ionic cleaning or a regular hot tank, and because of what he was told, we went with the ionic. And we got it back, and the engine builder either didn't know or didn't realize that it had one of these tubes in it. But when he got back, I'm reading about it, and I want to make sure I'm doing okay. We got the manual. And I realized that this thing is in here when I read the chapter about possible overheating troubleshooting. And I looked inside, and the tube's still in there, but it is partially missing. And then we started digging in more, and even the ionic cleaning didn't take up. You can see the crust right there. That it comes off in small pieces, and there's some laying in there that are just coming up off. And we realized that we might have a problem. I mean, if they were prone to overheating in 35, and they did a bunch of upgrades in 37 through 39, and they went for full water jackets in somewhere around 37 to 40, don't know exactly, but we needed to take care of this to the very best possible way. But it's a little bit late now because the motor's already done. But, we questioned a little bit what was done cleaning-wise and how effective that was when half the tube is still inside the motor. So we wanted to clean it up. And my customer has just been a real trooper, and he's been doing most of the grunt work. But we filled it with what's available in California, which is the Evaporust stuff, and it sat for like 5 days, and then we drained that out. And even just the drain out, hang on, when we drained out, we actually hoisted the engine up sitting like this so they would come out. But that is the actual only drain hole we have, and by the time I cleared that drain hole and emptied the fluid back out, just clearing an inch of the hole left me with this stuff, which didn't bode real well. And then we started poking around in this hole, and then I decided we're going to get more aggressive, and we actually got the we broke into the temperature sending hole and started clearing that out, and we pressure washed the inside while it's hanging upside down after 5 days of it, that stuff. And literally this is what we ended up with. And I mean, it's a big pile, and this is just on the first initial cleaning of the engine. And we actually have several tubes. These are all from a 37. We're hoping it's going to work in a 35, 36 engine. But you need to understand something when it comes to engine builders. Not all of them understand every intricacy of it, and they're only doing what you're asking. And some cleaning treatments are better than others. And if you're having overheated problems, you need to make sure, especially on an early engine, that you ask them to do a super clean inside. And you need to check it, and you need to understand that a vehicle that has heating issues may have one of these in them. And I've seen in some of the threads that I've read, all the way up to 59, that I've seen, there's still engines that have a tube like this in it that distributes the water around the hot spots inside the engine. And if this thing is rotten or not there or partially there, most of the stuff can be in the bottom of the coolant area and prevent the water from circulating appropriately. Just getting these was a massive hunt for part numbers and or availability, and they've been able to procure a few of them. But even this is not a good solution if you don't put antifreeze and anti-rust things in the water. So I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of a shout out here about owning the total outcome of what this your cooling system is, what it does. And you may need to educate your engine guy about what this thing needs in order to make sure that you actually get a motor rebuilt that is actually going to cool when you fire it up after spending thousands of dollars doing everything else. You can't ignore what's inside. You have to make sure it is what you need it to be. So I know this one's not as fun as some of my other ones, but if you have cooling issues, this may be one of these. So anyhow, just today's message. And this is really cool though. This is a Pontiac block, and look at what it's got in the casting on the back of it. So anyhow, I hope you guys are having an awesome day. We're going to go back on 57 and floor, which we may show a little bit later on. So hope you're having an awesome day. Thanks for hanging the custom mics. See ya.